Start now. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Abhramam Bangarayitam Ajadam Yunam Sada Anandatittamatalam Bhajetaptrayapaham Mithya Siddhanta Dudhvanta Vidvamshana Shikshana Jetitagata Nirbhasatam Nohudambre Pujya Raghavendraya Siddharmatayata Bhatatam Kalpukshayanam Kamanenave Apadamuli Paryantam Gurunamapnasmarit Yena Vigna Prashinti Siddhin Samanorathaha. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. We are doing the second adhyaya of Bhagavad Gita, and there we are talking about the characteristics of Aparoksha Jnana. The Jnani or the knowledgeable person, two kinds. One is a Paroksha Jnani and another one is Aparoksha Jnani. The difference is Paroksha Jnani, what we see most of the people that we come across in our life, they are Paroksha Jnanis. That means Paroksha means indirect. They are not directly able to perceive, through Shastra, through scriptures, they study, we learn about Paramatma. There is no direct perception of Paramatma. They are called Paroksha Jnanis. And Aparoksha Jnanis are those who see Paramatma, the Bimbarupi Paramatma, not continuously, but occasionally, whenever the God gives them a kind of a window, opportunity is completely left to Paramatma. He does the Aparoksha Darshana. It happens for a very short time, it does that. But once a person gets that Aparoksha Darshana, the person automatically is like a quantum leap. That such a matured, knowledgeable person reaches a different level where the person becomes capable of going in what we call asampragnata samadhi. That means the person can control all his things, sense organs. He can withdraw everything, and his hearing organ, he can make it inward. All his sense organs he makes inward, so he is completely unaffected by external sounds. Or the example they give is, even someone blows a drum near him, the person doesn't get disturbed. He completely cut off from the world, and for quite some time, it may be a few hours, it may be a few days, but it's a samadhi sthiti. That's what's called asampragnata samadhi. This capability comes for only an aparoksha jnani. So the aparoksha darshana, seeing Paramatma inside directly, the Bimbarupa Paramatma is different from this seeing Paramatma's image through Asampragnat Samadhi, because that Bimba Darshana, direct perception, lasts for only few minutes, whereas this Asampragnat Samadhi can last for hours or maybe days also. For example, one example is Shamika Maharshi, Parikshit Maharaja, when he puts the dead snake around the neck of Shamika Maharshi, he was in Asampragna Samadhi for a few days, maybe a day, 2 days, 3 days, we don't know how many days. So uh, it may be maybe a few hours also possible. When Parikshit comes, maybe he was in Asampragna Samadhi, because then his son comes, Shrungi. He sees that there's a dead snake around the neck of his father, and he realizes that his father was in Asampragna Samadhi when Parikshit came. So he gives a curse to Parikshit. We know all the story. So this is Asampragnata Samadhi. So Arjuna asked a question to Krishna, how do we know somebody is an Aparoksha Jnani? During Asampragnata Samadhi stage, of course, you can make out that, oh, he is a Aparoksha Jnani because nothing is affecting him. But at other times, when he is moving around among us, how do we recognize that so and so is Aparoksha Jnani, so and so? Nowadays, whoever we come across, most of the people, I mean, not most of, probably all the people, none of them is Aparoksha Jnani, because nobody has reached a stage where you blow the drum, also the person is completely unaffected, and the person is completely in control of his sense organs. The person has no desires, no selfishness. Such a person, nowadays, we don't see such a person. And one good example of Aparoksha Jnani in our recent times, of course, recent times means a few hundred years ago, 300, more than 300 years ago, Raghavendra Swami, we call Aparoksha Jnani. Why? Means he was capable of doing that. And another special ability that he exhibited is he could see what was happening at maybe several miles away also. He was able to connect with his extraordinary vision. So that's what the Lakshana qualifications of an Aparoksha Jnani. So Krishna goes on explaining how that is done, achieved by the person. So for others, that capability is not there. So there he says, Yatato hyapi kaunteya purushasya vipasita indriyani pramadini haranti prasabham manaha. Krishna says, see, for a paroksha jnani who is not a paroksha jnani, he may be a very great vidvamsa, pandita, scholar, but he has the desire to concentrate and think about Paramatma. So what he does? He does a lot of effort. Yatatohi api kaunteya purushasya. So even though he's a great scholar, he does a lot of effort. And he tries to, there's a word called pratyahara. Pratyahara means withdrawing the sense organs from the sense objects. He makes an effort. And with a lot of effort, he achieves also a little bit. With force, he withdraws his sense organs from sense objects. But the indriyas, the sense organs, so strong, so powerful that even with a lot of effort, sometimes they run after. For example, you see a nice picture, you want to see the picture, or you have a nice, wonderful food, you want to have that wonderful, tasty food, or you want to hear a nice, wonderful music, and you like that music, you want to hear that music. It may be Laukik music, it may be on a movie song, but it's so pleasant, you want to hear that. So the sense organs get drawn towards the sense objects. And what is, the question comes, what's the big deal? Okay, the sense objects are there and the sense organs are there. We get a joy, listening to nice things, seeing nice things, or whatever. Getting attracted to the objects. What's wrong? What's the big deal about it? And that's why it says, as long as you have control over them, is fine. But the moment you lose control, those sense organs and the sense objects gobble you up. So you should not let them gobble you up. Why? What's the big deal also? That's the reason for that is Indriyani pramathini haranti prasabham manaha. This, when it goes beyond certain limit, it can really cause the mental perturbance. You become restless. You lose balance of mind. So that stage you should not reach. Running after sense objects, as long as you have the control, then it's fine. The moment you lose control, they become pramathini, means pramatha means the perturbance of mind. Mathana, prakarshena mathana. It causes the mind to become restless. I want it, I want it, I want it, I want it. So you run after it. And if you don't get, you become angry. Of course, how the whole mental process works actually will be explained, which we'll touch upon in the next class, how each one leads to another, a chain reaction that starts, we'll talk about in the next class. But in this class, we will talk about this difference between paroksha and aparoksha jnana. It continues. What happens is, Krishna gives an advice. So what should a person do? In all the circumstances, especially Arjuna. Arjuna, what you should have to, because Arjuna already aparoksha jnani, but he had what we call jnana tirodhana. He's temporarily shut off. Temporarily, not shut off, but it's kind of a hazy. It is made hazy. So Arjuna got all this, worries that he doesn't want to kill his own relatives and all that thing. It happens. He ignoring the duty that he has to do. So all that happened. So here Krishna is giving an advice. Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha vasehi yasya indriyani tasya prajna patishtita. Tasya prajna patishtita. So the person who has the capability of aparoksha jnana, who has acquired the aparoksha jnana, he is, how do we recognize? Tani sarvani samyamya yukta asita matparaha. He says, ordinary fasting, ordinary efforts, and ordinary control is not enough in this. And people have not yet got Paramatma's darshana, Bimba darshana has not happened, and this pratyahara, that means if with lot of effort, withdrawing the sense organs from the sense objects, whatever effort is done, it's not sufficient. So the person then he should do extra effort. We call mahaprayatna. That means ordinary effort, things are not happening. Then, okay, if ordinary effort is not sufficient, make an extra effort and withdraw all the sense organs from the sense objects. And it turns out to be very difficult. What should you do? If when something is getting attracted to an object, the way you can prevent it is have a more desirable object. Then this becomes, oh, I don't want this, I want that more desirable object. But what is the more desirable object? Paramatma. Because Paramatma is the ultimate blissful entity, and you attach your mind. Yukta asita mat paraha. Mat means Krishna, mat to me. Let your mind, how you control, because actually all the sense organs are seated in the mind. You control the mind, then you control the sense organs. The way to control the sense organs is through the control of the mind. And the control of the mind is done by, you have to give something else to the mind. You can just, oh, don't go there. Oh, what should I do then? Turn towards Paramatma. So turn your mind towards Paramatma and say, develop an attitude where Paramatma becomes more important than the sense objects. And not, for people like, hey, I have so many things to do in life, how can I do all the time? You may not have to do all the time. Sometimes, like at least allocate some time, and during that time, the time intervals, you allocate, okay, in this time interval, for me, I need only Paramatma, I don't need anything else. Allocate time, and during that time, concentrate your mind on Paramatma. And if somebody does, vasehi yase indriyani, one who has absolute control over sense organs, initially he is doing with lot of effort. When he acquires the capability to do it with less and less and less effort, finally when he reaches a stage where he does it with effortlessly, that's when the person becomes eligible for this Bimba Darshana or Aparoksha Darshana. So it is a long process. It may not happen in one lifetime, it may be more than one lifetime, several lifetimes. But someone who is desirous of doing it has to allocate more and more time and make more and more effort and turn your mind towards Paramatma and travel in that direction. So eventually you will reach that special privilege or capability or position, mental perfection, where you are able to concentrate on Paramatma, ignoring everything around you in an effortless manner. One who is reaches that stage, he will get Aparoksha Darshana, and the moment that Aparoksha, the first time it happens, then the person, he is completely absorbed by Paramatma, and nothing else looks important for him except Paramatma. For Arjuna's case, we can actually perceive, even though this Jnana Tirodhana happened at that moment during the war, before a few, like few days before that, you hear the story where Duryodhana and Arjuna, both of them go and ask for the help of Krishna, and Krishna says, on one side, I am there, not holding any weapon, I won't do any fight, I won't engage in any fight. And on the other side, all my Narayana Sena, all well-trained people, they actually will engage in war and fight. They do engage in war and fight. Choose which one you want. And Duryodhana, he wanted only the army. So Krishna doesn't fight. Why do I need Krishna? I want only the army. So, but he wants to, but Krishna says, no, 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 you are not the one first to get the choice. Arjuna gets the first choice. Because I saw him first. Though you came first, I saw Arjuna first. Now you know all the story. Arjuna says, Krishna, I want you. I don't care we fight or not fight. I just want you. That's it. So that is what the thing is. So that is the lakshana of an aparoksha jnani. He says Paramatma is the ultimate thing. Nothing else matters. That thing is shown by Arjuna because he is aparoksha jnani. So that's what Krishna is saying. For whom, for the person for whom the sense organs have completely come under control, and he is able to control them with very little effort or effortlessly, basically, as if it's sahaja, naturally he does it. That person is really an aparoksha jnani, because he has reached a stage where he is able to do that. And then he will get the bimbadashana, or a direct vision of Paramatma, and then he is able to do it anytime he wants. Actually, you hear an expression for Arjuna, Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep. He controls the sleep also. Whenever he wants sleep, he can sleep. Whenever he doesn't want sleep, he can go without sleep for a long, any length of time. That was the capability of Arjuna. That's why it was called Gudaka. Gudaka means sleep. So that's the capabilities of an Aproksha Jnani. So this is what Krishna is explaining, and how the mental processes, kama, krodha, lobha, moha, mada, matsarya, how the chain process happens, that we'll cover in the next class. Hare Srinivasa. Any questions are there, you can feel free to ask.
Namaskara, Guruji.
Yeah.
Just wanted to know if aparoksha jnana is a necessary condition for moksha, because otherwise it seems kind of impossible to come out of the cycles of our papa and punya.
Yeah, that's a good question. Yes. Without aparoksha jnana, moksha does not happen. It's a prerequisite. So aparoksha jnana is a prerequisite for moksha. And no matter how, the jiva is a very insignificant jiva, still aparoksha jnana is needed, because aparoksha jnana is a guarantee for moksha. And that, for every sattvika jiva, it does happen. We don't know when it happens, but it will certainly happen for the jiva who is eligible for moksha. The jnanenaiva parampadam, nanya panthayana vidyate, all these statements are, what they mean is, without this aparoksha jnana, the moksha will not happen. The moksha has to happen only through the path of aparoksha jnana. It may look like a long journey, but it is a journey where even the aparoksha darshana, is like somebody who has done a PhD. Suppose somebody has done a PhD. The person knows the subject and he starts enjoying the subject. He says, okay, now I like so the liking will increase several times. In Paramatma's case, it's even more. In Aparoksha Jnani, the lot of effort is done, several janmas are taken, and one person acquires this Aparoksha Darshana. And after that Aparoksha Darshana, the person starts enjoying the service to Paramatma, the seva to Paramatma, the process, the puja, the whole thing he will do with a totally different mental set. Mindset will totally change. So, yes, for your question, Aparoksha Jnana is a prerequisite for moksha. There is no moksha acquisition without Aparoksha Darshana or Aparoksha Jnana. So Aparoksha Jnana is a must, and actually people say that whatever amount of sadhana anybody does, it may be 1 day, 1 week, 1 janma, 100 janmas, 1,000 janmas. Whatever sadhana is done before Aparoksha Jnana, that much sadhana is done after the Aparoksha Jnana acquisition. When Aparoksha Jnana happens, the person enjoys it even more. So the person engages in the service of the Lord. So such a Aparoksha Jnani will spend a lot of time enjoying and serving Paramatma. And the sadhana after Aparoksha Jnana acquisition will be as much as before the Aparoksha Jnana acquisition.
Thank you, Guruji. One follow-up question. Once a jiva attains moksha, it is freed from the cycles of birth and death. So, what really happens after the attainment of moksha to the jiva itself?
Yeah. First of all, we should understand what moksha means. Moksha is muktir naida sukhanubhuti, actually definition. So whatever is unnatural to us, we give up everything, and whatever is natural bliss we enjoy. Basically, every jiva is jnana ananda swarupa. That means the jiva itself is made of what we call supernatural bliss and knowledge. But we are covered by three bodies. One is the linga deha, another one is Aniruddha Deha, another one is our physical body, whatever we are able to see, the gross body, the physical body that we are able to see, that is the third outermost layer. Through this we are enjoying everything. But these are all mixed with sorrow and joy. It's a mixture. So in moksha, what happens is you give up all these external layers, and even linga deha is also cast off. Only the swarupa deha remains, and it's able to enjoy the inherent bliss. So what happens in moksha is always the blissful state. There is no mixture of sorrow and joy. It's only joy. That joy is not from outside of, like here now we eat a nice wonderful fruit, we are a good sweet or good whatever tasty food we enjoy, we get joy from outside objects. Whereas in case of moksha, I mean, you may still take the outside objects, but you take the outside objects and the joy is coming from only inside. It's not from the objects you get the joy. They are just expression. Actually, the good explanation is the expression of joy. Everything that we do in this world, they are come under 5 categories. One is either you do for the sake of getting joy, or you do for the sake of getting rid of sorrow, or you show reaction of a joy, or you show reaction of a sorrow, or it's just a what we call neutral action. It's an aimless action. Udasina karma we call. It comes under one of these 5 categories. And you can understand, for the sake of joy, for the sake of getting rid of sorrow, what are the expressions that are there which are our reaction to joy and the sorrow. For example, we laugh. Because of laughing, we are not getting a joy. Because there's a joy, we are laughing. The laughing is actually a reaction to joy. It's an expression of joy. It's an expression of joy. Same way, cry. We cry. By crying, you are not getting sorrow. Because you have the sorrow, you cry. So the crying is a reaction to sorrow. So, like that, a reaction. So, in case of moksha, what happens is the inherent joy that is there as a inherent nature of the soul, we are enjoy or expressing the joy. So it's always an expression of joy. You don't get the joy from outside, but you have the joy, always bubbling joy, which is not mixed with any sorrow and which is eternal. Like, okay, is the 1,000 years, 100,000 years, million years, only that much time? No, it is infinite time. The moment one goes to moksha, there is no question of, as you said, no birth and death cycle, because there is no body at all. It's only what we call the swarupa deha, no physical body, no acquisition of the body. When there is no body, no birth and death. What about getting a physical body? The birth, getting rid of the physical body is a death. That's the only thing, because jiva is eternal. So this eternal jiva, when he goes to moksha, no contact with the body, no birth, no death, nothing, eternally enjoys the inherent bliss, because all the external things are cut off. No more external connections, no external links. It's always enjoying is the inherent joy, the joy that's inherent in it, natural to it, not from outside objects. That is what is moksha. So there's no end to it, it's eternal.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Guruji. Thank you very much.
No problem.
Guruji, I have a basic question. So when first time a soul is created, on what basis does the soul attain the form of a human or an animal? Because there is no prior karma associated with it. So how is that decision made?
Yeah, as we hear the thing, anadi karma. So the soul actually is never created. The soul is there eternally. So from beginningless time, the soul is there. But the soul does not have a physical body. The soul has its own nature, whatever sattva, rajas, tamo, basically a good soul or bad soul or intermediate soul or all kinds of souls. They are eternal. I mean, even God did not create them. Their own inherent, some are good, some are bad. It's there. It's just the nature of that. So when there is no body at all, the soul, through its what we call swarupa manas, that means not the mind that we have when we have the body, we have a mind, not that kind of a mind, but the Swarupa mind, that means the soul's mind, whatever is the thought is there, that soul is thinking, okay, I want to do this good, I want to be good, I want to. So it has only good thoughts. So those good thoughts are there, but it's not actually exhibiting, it's not doing anything because there's no body, no physical body initially. So it is always thinking of doing something good, thinking of doing something nice, and nice thoughts only are coming. If for a bad soul, only bad thoughts keep coming. So these eternal karma that is being done as a very subtle form, because there is no body. These are karmas that are done only in the thought process. There are only thought processes. Due to these thought processes, the soul becomes eligible for a nice body or a bad body or a good person or a bad person. So the first time souls are brought into creation, what Paramatma does is the soul has a linga deha also, which is also anadi, beginningless time, and the soul has its own swarupa deha or inherent body, and the linga deha. Then Paramatma gives another deha called aniruddha sharira, which is actually like a holder. It's basically a connector between the linga deha and a gross body. Then because the anadi, from beginningless time, the good soul is thinking of a lot of good thoughts, right? The mental processes. Due to those good mental processes, it gets a good body. The first body that it comes is as per the karma or the actions that are done in a very subtle form, because no physical body, because first time it's brought into creation. Earlier whatever it has done is only through the what we call soul's mental process. Those soul's mental processes only are reason for getting whatever body first time. The first body that comes is based on the anadi karma, the beginningless subtle karma, very subtle done. It is done in a very subtle fashion, not gross. And then the sadhana starts. The moment it is brought into creation, first time, it gets the first body based upon its anadi karma or beginningless karma. So from that, based on that, different ones get different. Why? That's why all of us not getting the same kind of thing, same kind of body. Different people get different body. The karma chain reaction continues from that point on. Then you can do more because the body is there. People can do good things or bad things. So the capability suddenly increases because you're able to perform now with the body. Earlier you didn't have the body. The first time somebody is brought into creation or into, Paramatma brought millions of souls into creation, and then all of them do as per their capability. And the first body is based upon the karma that it has done in a subtle way from beginningless time. That is what is responsible for getting different kinds of body.
Thank you, Guruji.